2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7. For God has not given us a spirit of timidity, but of power, of love, and of sound mind. I welcome you to today's episode of the Relevant Woman Talk Show with me, Lois Acho. Today we are talking about how to overcome timidity. And my guest has a lot of experiences with timidity, but she has been able to come out of it. And today we are here to discuss how to overcome it. So please stay tuned and enjoy this interview. So today I have with me Mrs. Nora Williams. She is my childhood friend. We attended Sunday school together. We participated in church activities together, and it's nice to have her here with me after so many years. Nora, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It feels so good to see you after so long.
I know, right?
So long. Okay, so, well, I do know you, but our viewers do not know you. So can you throw light on who you are? Like, who is Nora Williams?
Okay. So Nora Williams is Nora Williams. I'll just say I'm a mother of one, a little boy, and I own a business, like an interior decor and like event planning business, in the name of Mofi Events by Nora Williams. So you can find me on IG at the moment. Yeah.
Okay. So when we talk about timidity, a lot of people encounter it, they feel it. What exactly is timidity?
I would say that timidity is just lack of courage, simply. Like lack of courage or fear. Like somebody who is always fearful will be called a timid person. You know.
Fearful.
So when we say, like, timid people are always afraid of things. Sometimes you can't even explain what they're afraid of. But then, okay, sometimes, let me just use this one. Sometimes people can compare timidity with shyness. Do you understand? But then I think there's a fine line between timidity and shyness. So shyness is like an extreme form, you know, of fear. So then when it comes to that, that's when timidity comes into play.
Sometimes I felt timid because sometimes when you find yourself among a group of people, you feel like maybe they are above you, you are beneath them. They have something that maybe you think you don't have that. How about you?
You know that. When we were kids, I used to be a little hyper.
Very.
If you remember. So I think maybe that was my defense mechanism.
Oh.
Yeah, to me now, looking back, I think it was my defense mechanism. Besides, I grew up with boys, you know, or I have brothers.
Yeah.
So when you grow up with boys, you have to, it's like you pick up on their lifestyle even without knowing. So I used to move more with boys than I did with girls. So anytime I found myself with girls, I always felt I was being judged. Somehow. You know, so it's like, okay, my way of being active is like a defense mechanism. You know, but then I knew how to put up a face.
Yeah.
But then within, you are shocked, right? But within, there was trauma going on within. Yeah.
I'm amazed.
I know you are.
Oh, because you were so outgoing. You did a lot of things.
It got to a time, I think this is where I started getting really timid. My hyper, or what's like people called it, me being active was somehow seen as being extra. So there were times I would get complaints like, oh, Obano, like, can I speak? Like, Obano, you know. So when I hear that, I was like, okay, I started seeing it as a negative thing. So I remember before we moved to SHS, I started coiling up. I became more and more reserved. So it's like I had a total different like personality from I used to when I was a kid. Like moving from GHS to SHS, I completely changed. I became more like reserved.
But I think right now you shocked me because
I know
all of our friends would be amazed.
They'll be shocked. They'll think no, that's not true. But then I really
exactly caused your?
You know, like I said, I started noticing it from GHS. GHS, I encountered some bullies. I was bullied in school. Maybe because I was acting too mature than I was. I was mature. Bullied. Yeah, I was more mature than my age.
Yeah.
Because maybe in the way I saw things, in the way I spoke, or the way I carried myself about. So people in my age group probably couldn't understand why
relate with you.
exactly. So I always felt out of place, So that made me change who I was. I became scared. I was really scared. Anytime it was even break time, I would not go out to eat. Yeah, it was that bad. I would not go out to eat. I would prefer staying in the classroom. So when break is over, I'll probably find an excuse to say maybe I'm going to the bathroom, then I'll go and eat. Just because I was afraid to walk into a room full of people. So I had it the worst. But then the good thing is I just knew how to put up a face. But then inside I was battling a lot. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm taken aback, you know.
I know. Mm-hmm. You're shocked.
Wow. So is it a feeling or is it just a state of being? Can it pass away or it can stay with someone for a very long time?
I think timidity can stay with somebody. It's like whatever you invite into your life sticks. Mm-hmm. And I think the reason why I say it's something that can stay with you is because it's more or less like a mental, I think it's a psychological thing.
Yeah.
People are afraid of things they can't see.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Fear
of the unknown.
Exactly. So that's the same way timidity also happens. It's something that you must purposefully, want to change. If you live with it, it's going to be with you. If you're not doing anything about it, if you're in your corner, always by yourself, you're not bringing yourself out, you're not, talking to people, you're not interacting, definitely, it will stay with you. It's not something that comes and goes. Although I can say that maybe shyness is something that comes and goes. Because I think every one of us has a little bit of shyness in us without familiar people.
Yes.
But when we are with familiar people, we are ourselves,
so,
But timidity is more extreme, because even with the people you know, you still, you lay back,
you coil yourself
so
in.
I really don't think it's something that comes and goes. I think it's something that stays with you only if you allow it.
So how did you overcome it? Me personally, I needed to build my courage. So I did it with earrings.
Wow.
Yeah, I actually did it with earrings. And people used to admire it. And because I was outside of the country, it was okay. I could wear like one big metal earring, then I'll go for a wooden short earring. Like I did those kinds of things just to be able to go into people.
Yeah.
So I came off as very confident, and once I felt like people felt like I'm confident, then I did away with it. Yeah. So how about you?
Okay, because of the bullying I encountered in my junior high school, I knew that middle school was not a thing for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I just took it out of the picture, and it was so bad. I didn't feel like we stay in Kumasi at that moment. Yeah, it was because that's how it affected me emotionally and psychologically. So I felt like the safest way would be outside Kumasi. So then it's like a new start for me. Like nobody knew me where I was going, so I chose to go to Brig Girls, it was Eastern region, and it was an all-girls school. And I think one of the things that really helped me was the fact that when we went there, they taught us how to walk. They taught us how to. I saw how my seniors, talked, how they reacted. So I was like, okay, there's so much I can learn from here. So I think that's where my perception really started changing. That I'm the only one who can make myself, come out of that shell. Nobody can do that for me. So I had to change my way of thinking. After all, we are all girls.
Yes.
Nobody is anybody here. We are all girls. You may be older than me, but at the end of the day, we are still.
We wear the same uniform.
Do you understand? So I think that's where it started shaping up. From learning how to walk upright and not slouch. Because sometimes your disposition can, bring out a lot of, against you, and it can also make you timid. It gives the impression of you being timid even from your disposition.
Yes.
So I think that was also one thing that also helped me. I'm going to an all-girls school, and putting myself out there. That's the thing. I decided to join clubs, and I didn't join clubs that would make me uncomfortable. I joined clubs that I'll be comfortable with because I knew how to act.
Yes.
So like we joined the drama club. I knew I could sing, so I joined the choir. You know, so okay, this, even if I'm in the chorus, at least I'm somewhere. You know, so I chose to, you know, join my like groups that makes me uncomfortable, like makes me comfortable. Yeah, so that was also helpful.
But looking at women generally, like even in Ghana, most women are very, very, very timid. The very few that you see, you know, being themselves, outgoing, not afraid, it looks as if they are the ones that seem to have money.
Yeah.
What are the things that are contributing to these factors?
You know,
I mean, these things.
Okay, let me give a general statement. You know, they say that it's a man's world.
Yes.
You know, and we the women, we are living in it. You know, so it's unfortunate that society has made it so. You know, because even when if we relate it even in our marriages, let me just bring it back to even our marriages. They'll tell us to compromise. It takes two. Compromise, you know. But at the end of the day, you find that the compromisation is being done more on the woman's part. And it releases in every sphere of our lives. So you find yourself that, like you said, more of these women who are succeeding are those who are like confident, those who are, you know, out there. But you ask them and you realize that it didn't start like that. Because our foundation has been, it's like when you grow up, it's like, okay, you need to respect your elderly person, you need to respect your husband.
You can't question.
Even the advice they give to a woman when she's even entering marriage is different from that they'll give to a man. You know, it's more or less like the marriage is on you, the woman, your head. Success is on the men. And if you find yourself like in a career where like is mainly populated or more dominated, you realize that even with a woman in the same position as a man will be earning higher than a woman in that position. And the moment you, the woman, starts becoming like having a voice, it's seen as you are being too rude.
Yeah, rude.
You know, then we start having issues. But I think one of the things that makes it women who are confident successful is because they have psychologically trained their mind. And the foundation is very important. And if you find out, most of them too are people who lived in the Western world. You know, because the way of life there is free. You know, we need to start changing the way we think. We need to start empowering ourselves, you know, that we can do better, we can do more, and just not, we are limitless as women, you know, so we need to start finding our inner voice, you know, and working out or towing that line. I really think that is what we are supposed to be doing.
I think so too. Yeah. So can we throw light on, you know, disadvantages of timidity? If someone is timid, what goes wrong?
Everything goes wrong. Everything. Okay, I'm bringing it back to my life. To this day, I feel like I lost so many opportunities because of me being timid. You know, I had people who came my way who could have helped me advance even in my career, even in my personal life, like personal growth. But then I was too scared, you know, like to take chances or even to get close to people. You know, because I felt like they would judge me or they'll see that, okay, maybe she's too tomboyish or she's, you know, I had that going on. So I decided to lay back, you know, and it took me a lot, because you never know where you can be if you just let go. You know, I'm not saying it's going to happen like, you know, instantly. Of course, it will take time.
It's a gradual process.
Yes, it will take time, it will take effort, and it will take a desire. You need to desire it. You know, it wouldn't just vanish. So for me, I had to actually, it got to a time I'll actually talk to myself, you know, out of it. Just, you can do it, you know. Just try. What have you to lose?
Because there are people who even meet people who want to help them.
Exactly.
And here saying,
you know, you need to be able to speak out.
At least
that's what I'm saying.
Talk.
And when you say it affects everything. Imagine being called for an interview and you're timid. How do you even answer questions at the interview?
For example, you go for an interview and they ask you, so how much are you expecting to be paid at the end of the month?
Exactly.
Then I attended one interview like that, and it was just a long queue of women. It felt like we were not going to get out of here. Then I realized that they were whispering among themselves. Say now, can you?
Wow.
Can do something? Oh, can 1,500, 2,002, 1,000. Me, when I went inside, I said 3,500.
That's all.
And they didn't give me the job anyway.
Because
When I said 3-5, the man and the woman actually looked at me.
They were shocked.
Like, everybody coming here is saying 1,000,
Yeah, so
2,000, 3,000. Only you came inside and you said 3-5.
They didn't know the value you were going to add to them.
And they asked me why. I said, I'm coming all the way from where I am to this place.
Yeah, you don't expect me to earn
children.
lesser, yeah.
And I mean, definitely you asked me to work overtime and all those things. And well,
I worked in HR with a banking firm for some years. So there was this tactic that they used to use. When you come for the interview, our AC will be turned to like the highest degree. Just to see who will talk. You know, who actually asks, the AC is
too cold.
So, and you'll be shocked.
Nobody.
That about 90% of women that come there,
but they are feeling
and
cold.
will be shivering. You know, so all these things come into play. You know, when it comes to timidity, you need to be able to voice out, let people know, because it affects everything. We see women being abused everywhere. We see even affecting like children, because when they even come and tell mommy cannot even do anything about it. You know, so we need to come out of our shell. That's the number one thing. We need to just come out, just give it a try.
Wow.
You know?
Let's go for a quick break. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I hope that all of our timidity is being diffused. Okay, Nora. Sometimes, many times, we hear of abuse, domestic violence, and all this. Don't you think that timidity is also causing some of these things?
Partly the reason why many people are also being abused is because who is going to listen? And if anybody listens, what are they going to do about it? You know, so we become voiceless, you know, and it's like the power you have is taken away from you. You know, so yeah, in love and relationships, timidity can really cause issues, you know, just because if you're like you are in an abused relationship, then obviously for you to be abused, you have to be in a timid, you know, environment for you to be abused. So that's like the number one thing. You know, that's the number one thing. Timidity can cause a lot, you know. And one other thing too is that when you are timid in any form of relationship, it could be in your working relationship, in your love life or anything. You're never free to be yourself. You're never free to tap into your potential or who you can be, because it's always like, if I do it, how will the next person see me? How will they view you? It's always about, it's like, but every time the focus is on you. You know, it's like me. How is everybody seeing me? Hey, what are they going to say about what I'm wearing? What are they going to say about what I say? Hey, you know, everything, like everything, you're so fearful of everything around you that you let the whole world have power like over you.
Yeah.
You know, so timidity is terrible. You know, it's really terrible because it ruins a lot. And timidity has caused more people to be abused physically. It has caused more divorces even these times. Because I've had issues where I speak to a lot of lawyer friends of mine, and they will tell me about how in a day I was talking to him one time and kept receiving phone calls. You know, I'm like, who are all these people? He's like, can I believe that all the 4 people who called him are women who are asking for the procedure for divorce? I'm like, wow, what is happening? I'm like, yeah, women and, you know, husband issues, you know. So it's like, if you are timid, you just keep on staying in a situation where you know it's not good for you, but you just stay there anyway, because you feel you can't have it better.
If you're starting a relationship, if you're starting a love relationship or any relationship as such, and signs start showing that you don't feel comfortable about, you don't like it, what would cause someone not to address it?
That's true. You know what they say, that love is blind, but to me, I really don't think. Now I know that love is not blind. I think love is not love if it is blind. You know, you need to see where you're going. You know, people don't fall in love anymore. You know, you walk into it. You're supposed to know where you're going. But in that moment, it's like I said, we women, our culture has also made it so. We are wired to serve. You know, so because of that, the man is the head of the family, even if he's not married yet. To you, because
Because
you are
he's going
gunning
to
towards it.
marry.
You know, it's like that's the
I have to start.
ultimate goal.
I have to start practicing my submission.
Exactly. You know, so no, even if he's doing something that you are comfortable with, oh, just for the sake, you know, so you are just there practicing for something you don't even know if you're going to have. You know, so I think that is also a reason, because people think they are in love. They think they are not in love, but they think they are in love. So it's like they are aiming to please. Do you understand? So at that moment, the red flags are not red. To them, even they see that red, to them, love is what? Love, the color of love is red, right? So when they see the red flags, to them, it's love shaped. You know, so they don't see it.
Wow.
That's the thing.
And then, is it our training, or is it culture?
That's what I was saying earlier. The culture. Even, you know, let me even use, this is not, but let me just use this example. When a woman cheats on her husband, right, the term that people use is that she's a prostitute or she was a whore.
She's a whore.
Do you understand? But if a man does it, or a bema. Do you understand? So when you've grown up in such an environment that, like, the man is a god, you know, you start to think your value lies in a man. Do you get it? You start to think that I think that is the baseline of our culture here. Fine, the Bible talks about submission as women, but I think we take it too extreme. You know, that in some places where I know of, when I was going to deliver my son, I stayed in a room with another lady. We both went through like cesarean, but she was so eager to get home. And I was like, we are all recovering. What is the rush? She's like, she needs to go. Her husband is not eating well. I get that. But yeah, you just had an operation. I have to go. My husband likes a lot of fufu. I have to go and be pounding fufu for him. Otherwise, another woman will take my husband away from me. You know, and I'm like, why are women always putting ourselves in a position where we feel like we are not enough or another person will take our place? Do you know how your position, like, we all have a role to play as women. We are a piece of a puzzle. Wherever we fit it, we leave a mark there. So we shouldn't belittle ourselves so much that we are too stressed. Do you understand? That we forget ourselves as women, you know. This is so sensitive to me. I'm very passionate about this topic because I feel like I'm honestly happy about this topic because more people need to be, and women need to be empowered. Like you said, is it like our baseline? It's the foundation. If I am a confident woman, you are a confident woman, we will raise confident children. Do you get it?
Exactly.
If we are powerful women, we will raise powerful children. But then if I'm a timid woman, I'm always fearful. My child, the likelihood of my child to toe that line is high. You know, so that is where it starts, from the foundation. We need to empower ourselves. We need to encourage ourselves that we can do so much. Submission is good, but submission does not mean slavery. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Submission is respect, and it is a two-way street. A man loves, a woman submits. You know, and the Bible talks about a husband loving the wife, and he brings submission second because he knows that when a man does that, it will automatically come with a woman because it's already embedded in us as a woman. But the fact that I'm submitting to you doesn't mean I'm a slave to you.
Yes.
You know, so I think that is where. That's something. That is the line that we need to draw as women. Identify and, like, you know, let your how do I put this? Don't let the lines be blurred. Let it be visible for, like, everybody to see. Yes.
Wow. So how will women break free? Personally, I had to change environment.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you find yourself in a place that you feel that this place is so toxic.
Yeah.
Wherever you turn, it's like you are out of place.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you see others going about doing their things anyway. But it's like only you, when you want to do something for yourself, there is an excuse that someone else wants to give you. So I just needed to change environment. There are so many women out there. I'm sure they wouldn't even know what step to take to come out. Mainly is because of fear. fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
If it is a relationship, they feel, hey,
It's true.
you know, because of this same timidity, a woman will sit down, have children with a man, and the man doesn't even feel bothered to even go and see your family to do anything, and you are there going through all sorts of things. How can we come out of this?
See, for those who are already experiencing it, like I said, you talked about environment, changing environment. Remember I told you I did the same thing where I had to move from another region to another region.
Yes.
You know, just so I can start afresh. But for those who can't afford even that environment, fear is mainly psychological. There's a fear that comes with every stage in life. Like when a child is like 1 to 3, 4, 5 years, they are afraid of everything. They can be afraid of their own shadow. So I think there are all forms of fear. But then when they start growing up and they start seeing that, okay, when the light is on, the shadow vanishes. So there's not really anything to be afraid of. We can pick up from that. I had to change my mindset. We are not, like I said, it's not something that's going to come, you know, just swiftly. It will take time. It will take effort, and it will take a desire to change. You have to want it for yourself. Otherwise, you'll be stuck wherever you are. We all want to, you know, move along. We want to move ahead in life. So the one thing that I can tell you is that be more social. It's not easy to be social. I'm not saying be social like go and sit in a bar and get some drinks. Don't be social as in something that you'll be uncomfortable with. Learn, like maybe you can start by in your workplace where you find yourself, or in church. I started with saying hello to someone, and my defining moment was in level 200. In level 200 of uni. That was when, I don't know what it was. Because I was so scared to approach people, I don't know what happened. One time I saw a lady, and I just told her, I like your shirt. You're looking really good. Later, this lady, like, she sought me out and told me I saved her life. I asked her how. She said she was on the verge of suicide.
What?
Yeah, she was on the verge of suicide. But then that day that I saw her and I told her, I like her shirt and I like how she's looking today, she felt that there was something more to live for.
Wow.
I started with a stranger. It doesn't have to be someone you know. You can start with somebody you have nothing to lose. You understand? A stranger. Say hello. Say hi. Say good morning. Good afternoon. You know, it can lead somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need, just try and come out of your shell a little. It's not easy. Or you can even, another thing that I also tried was, like I said, joining clubs. Be where you are comfortable. If it's a voice that you have, you know you have a good voice, join the choir. You can be in the chorus, but at the end of the day, when they sing treble, you are there. You know, you add to the melody. You understand? So you start from these little. And one thing I also say that don't get caught up in labels. People have been so caught up in labels that, okay, this is a slave queen. Hey, stop comparing yourself to others. That's the thing. You know, because that's where it stems from. Because we always, when you're timid, you're insecure. So you always feel like somebody is better than you are. So you're always comparing yourself to others. Stop comparing. We are all unique. We are all different. We are all special in our own way. Like I said earlier, we all have a piece of the puzzle to fill.
Yes.
You know, so identify where you're good at and push through there.
Wow.
You know.
So, what's the opposite of timid? If someone is not timid?
I wouldn't say that it's opposite. I would say that maybe what you can do or like what you can do to overcome it. Maybe like overcoming tips would be like confidence. Yeah, confidence. And confidence, when you are confident, you have a little bit of courage.
Yes.
You know, because remember I said that timidity is like lack of courage. So then if you're confident and you're courageous, I think that's like, I wouldn't say opposite, but then, you know, that's like a way to overcome timidity.
So how does one gather some confidence?
Confidence. One, if you want, okay, I get the impression, mostly when I tell people I'm shy, like you were shocked, you're like, oh no, that's such a lie. But then I try to be very approachable. It can be in your, like I said, disposition. you don't expect to be in your phone playing Candy Crush and you want people to approach you. You need to be available.
Candy Crush, that's my favorite game.
Oh my goodness. You need to be approachable. It can be a smile. Be friendly. It doesn't mean you can be familiar but not friendly. But then I normally use that term because I feel like you don't want somebody thinking you're psycho just because every day they see you're smiling. No, we're not saying that.
Or being
nosy. So you just ask for maybe a good morning. Just be polite, be welcoming. And another thing too that I'll say is begin with words of affirmation. Every day I have to teach myself that, and I'm passing that to my son too. Every day, stand in the mirror, say something good about yourself. Another thing too is that don't be too nitpicky. About yourself. See, if you want to see something, if you look closely, you will see it. Sometimes ignore certain things about yourself because it's not everything that you can change about yourself.
Yes.
But whatever you have, it's a story for you to tell. You get it?
Yes.
Somebody can see a scar, so maybe because of a scar you have, you're timid. You don't want to get to people.
Then
but
all
it's also
your attention is on that scar.
But it's also an opportunity for you to also sow because then you begin a story. It could be a scar on your arm. People can see you and go like, what happened? Then it begins a conversation. You understand? Gradually, you come out. So your scar can actually be your social, social ladder or your social thing, And another thing that I'll also say is, this thing was so in my mind. Be mindful of who you let around you.
The people in your circle.
Exactly, in your circle. Try to get closer to people who are more positive. Because I had a lot of negative people in my ear all the time. Oh, you're too hyper. Oh, you're too this. You're too that. Sometimes timidity can also come from just growing up or being a woman, because you're seeing all the boobs coming and maybe the people around you are not getting it. So then it's like, you start becoming shy. It was so bad. Like, oh my goodness. I even had the issue of I'm very hairy, so I got cuts just because I was being bullied about how hairy I was. So I remember those times I'll go into the shower and just be shaving and I'll end up getting cuts all over just so I'll be accepted. Accept who you are. That's how God made you, and you are special. Wow. Accept compliments. Some people will go like, oh, you're looking good, and they'll tell you, oh, hey, sir. Oh, really? Accept it. Say thank you. Move along. Smile. If it's something that is not a compliment, or let's say not a good compliment, work towards it. There's always something. We shouldn't be too let loose. It's not easy because timidity is psychological, like I said. Sometimes people do not understand why people are the way they are. If you know someone who is also timid, take it easy on them. Just say some encouraging words to them, compliment them, help them out. You shouldn't keep drumming it in their ears. Oh, I don't know what to say. People don't always want to be like that. People don't choose to be timid. Sometimes that's just who, what they've come to see or how society has molded them to be. Do you understand? So it takes time for people to come out of that. Okay. Yeah.
So we are about concluding. I think people in leadership positions, pastors, parents, teachers, bosses, have played also a role in making people timid. Yeah. I remember one time I made just an omission in work in some place that I used to work, and the comment I got was so bad that a robot wouldn't even do that. You see, sometimes they can also, even at workplace, they can make you feel like you are not enough, you are not giving your best, and then call you up. How will you address such, people in authority? Even pastors, some pastors, it's as if they are manipulating you, putting fear in you. God gave me to you.
That's true.
And what your pastor says, that's what you have to do.
Yeah. It's what I was talking about earlier about submission.
Yeah.
That the Bible tells women to submit. I think pastors should preach more about men loving their wives. Because a woman will naturally submit. Our maternal instincts are so strong that we are maternal even to our husbands. Because men honestly are like babies. You know, we can see it from when they are even sick. The way they exaggerate when they are sick. You know, so
Hey, it's true.
you know, they exaggerate when they are sick. You know, but a woman can be sick and you still see her multitasking, doing everything.
Everything.
Do you understand? So one of the things I think pastors can really do. Marriage is not on the woman. It takes two to make a marriage. They should keep pondering on it. When a man loves his wife, I feel like the reason why God says man love your wife is because it's not easy for a man to also love. And it's not easy for a woman to also submit. But you realize that when a woman who easily submits to her husband is loved right.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about slavery, I'm talking about proper submission. Because submission to is respect. You know, so I think that is what pastors should also dwell more on, respect. You know, and one of the things that I think will start changing the status quo is when women start taking up leadership positions. You know, now we've seen that some of it's happening even in the US and you know even in Ghana. You are seeing that some of the women are going into ministry, like ministerial positions and all that. So that can also help. When you have a feminine boss, she understands your plight as a woman. She understands your weaknesses.
Yeah.
Men are not so.
They don't know.
They don't know. They don't understand when you know, so it makes it difficult when they are trying to comprehend what you are saying to them. You are supposed to do it, you know, but then so I think that's one of the things that our women need to start taking up. I feel like entrepreneurship is the way to go.
Succeed in business.
Exactly. You know, women should take up more leadership roles. Women should be more empowered, and women should help women. You know, we bite too much and
gossip
too much. You know, we need to help each other. You know, when your fellow woman is down, let's her up. You know, let's encourage one another. I think that's the baseline. If we take up more leadership roles, even the children, our posterity can look up to that. Is okay. If my mom is in this position, I can also get to this position. Yes, do you get it? So exactly. It cuts across. It's like a ripple effect for everything that is around us. So I think that's another thing. You know, and education. You know, read more. You know, it doesn't have to be right now. When I was researching on the even girl child education, I realized that even more males are in school than women. Like 18% for boys. That's in Ghana here, and 13% for girls. You would think that we are in the 21st century. Things would have been we are preaching femininity, equality, but then it's not really happening. You know, so we need to be more educated. We need to be more aware. Let's be self-aware. You can be at one place, read more. You can travel the world from a book. You know, let's gain more knowledge so that ignorance does not kill us. You know, so I think those are a few.
Okay. So finally, to end, relevant woman. We are all about getting women to be relevant, to be purposeful. So, what are your parting words for women?
My tagline in my life is the verse you just said, that God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of love, of power and of sound mind. If God has not given me that spirit of fear or that spirit of timidity, that means He's put me in a position where I can overcome. You know, so my tagline in life is that I can do all things. You know, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So I think that's one of the things that we should also embrace as women. To be relevant, you need to leave a mark. You know, you need to be remembered. You see, when you go somewhere, your presence should be felt and your absence should be missed. You know, those are key. Let people remember you. Because of something you have left. Be relevant, not just by your words, but in your actions, in your day-to-day communications with people, your day-to-day relations with people. Try to see how best you are leaving a mark in someone's life. It could be through words of encouragement. It could be through a helping hand. You know, all those things. So women, I feel, women carry the world. To me, it's women who birthed the world. Let's tap into our inner self. Let us realize our strengths. When we realize our strengths, we realize that we are more powerful than we think. We may look very meek, but we are so powerful. Fragile, but we are so powerful. You know, so I think that's one of the things that we should encourage ourselves, because we are strong. I mean, we rule. You know, so
we do rule.
yeah. So that those are my words. You are powerful than you think. You are stronger than you look. You know, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. And always encourage a sister. You know, at the end of the day, we are all sisters. You know, if I make it, you'll be proud to say you took part in my success story. So let's also help one another to get to the finish line.
Wow. Let's help one another to get to the finish line. Nora, thank you so much for coming. You've been incredible. Thank you so much. You said a lot of meaningful things that we can all take and, you know, help ourselves get out of timidity and, you know, give ourselves to the world and, you know, perform. Yeah, because we're not just born to just come and pass through, but we have to really leave a mark. Wow. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So, we've come to the end of this episode, and I believe that you all have been inspired to come out of your timidity and to truly be who you are. I'd like to say thank you to all of you viewers who have subscribed. Your subscriptions mean a lot to us. Thank you. For all those who are yet to subscribe, I entreat you all to go to our YouTube channel at the Relevant Woman Talk Show and follow us on our social media handles at Relevant Woman. That's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'd like to say thank you to all of my crew for making today's episode possible. So please take note that COVID-19 is real. Please wear a face mask anytime you go out. Use your hand sanitizers frequently and wash your hands as often as you can. Nora, before we go finally, your business, how can we find you?
Okay, I'm on Instagram mainly as Mofi Events by Nora Williams. So if you go to Instagram, you'll find me there. I'm just mainly into wedding decor, any form of decor, housing projects, you know, interior decorations and all that. Yeah.
Would you like to give a number?
Yeah, sure. So you can find me on 020-7386-155.
Okay. So, before I go, I'll leave you with this. Come out of your shell because the world wants to experience you. Till I come your way next time, it's bye-bye.